Oh, alo sili, e whakau i le pea. Por kakau fu.
Talo for lava. What's up, everybody? Yeah, hello, level for love. Yeah, man, I can't, I can't help myself but laugh at all the new narratives that these people are trying to push and try to discredit what it is and what belongs to us Samoans. Now, the truth of the matter is when when the daughter of Amalele married the Tuihata Kalaua and gave birth to a boy named Ngata. Now Ngata created his own kingdom in Hihifo, and he modeled his kingdom in the Whaamatai system of the Samoa. Hence why you have the Hingoa Whakanofo, the Eiki, you have the Tatawha'is, you have the Matapules, and you have all of this. So all of this, they are all tied back to the Samoan system. Like you have the Tuiatua, and then you have the Tafa'is of the Tuiatua, you have the Tulafales. The Tulafales is the same as the Matapules. That was a system that he created within his kingdom. Now, he also took a lot of Samoan customs and Samoan part of the Samoan culture and incorporated it into his kingdom. And this is the line that eventually became the dominant line of the Tuitongas. Then there was when his line was created, it became there were three lines of the Tuitonga. It was the Tuitonga, Tuiatakalaua, and the Tuikanokupolu line, and eventually the Tuikanokupolu became the most dominant line. Where to this day, Tuikanokupolu, or the Ano of Upolu, the flesh of Upolu line, is currently ruling the kingdom of Tonga. But all of this ties back to Ngata. Hence why in Tonga you have the Katau Olunga, you have the Kailao. All of these are part of the Samoan culture. Now, when it comes to the Peʻa and the tattooing, I know across Polynesia, across the Pacific, every island had their own method of tattooing. They had their own tattoos. But when it comes to the Peʻa, there's the story that the Tongan friend of Ace told him is completely bullshit or completely bollocks. Because if you understand the old gods of Samoa, the times of the Tangaloa Langi clan, when it existed, Tangaloa resided in the ninth heaven, or Langi Sautuaiva. There were nine heavens, nine stages of the heavens. So on the Langi Sautuavalu, or on the eighth heaven of Tangaloa, is where all his Fuaautoa resided. None of the tufungas were, or the knowledge of the tufungas was with the common people. It was only with the gods. And what I mean by the tufungangas of Tangaloa, I'm talking about the tufunga faufali, that is the master carpenter, the tufunga fauva, the master boat builder, the tufunga tatatau, the master tattooist, and so forth. The different tufungas, or the tufungangas of Tangaloa, were all in the eighth heaven until Tangaloa decided to give it to the common people and created masters on Earth, or on in Samoa. Now let's go back to the story of where the tattoo comes from, where we still have that debate. Did it come from Fiji, as in Fiji Islands, or did it come from Fiji? Because the Fijians, they don't believe that it came from them. So we believe that the tattooing and the tattooing tools came from Fitiuta. Why would we believe that it came from Fitiuta? Because the nine heavens, or the Langi Sautuaiva of Tangaloa, was in Manua, where Fitiuta actually is. Now, if you look at the claim by this person that said that it was created as a punishment for us, we never tattooed any of the common people of Tonga. The Samoans only tattooed the royal family of Tonga, only the royal family. Hence why when the royal the Tongans had their own tufungas, but they were not allowed to tattoo any of the royal family, the king and his family. Why? Because they are commoners. They don't have the same status as them. Hence why the king Tupo, there's evidence that Tupo was a tattooed man himself. He had a Peʻa. He was a Songa Imiki, and most of his royal family, they all traveled to Samoa. Even when he made the decree to ban tattooing in Tonga, the royal family members of Tonga still come to Samoa. And there is an understanding where only the Samoan people are allowed to touch the bodies of the king and his royal family. Now, you ask me, what evidence do you have to back that up? Now, when Ngata developed this kingship and his kingdom, and he had this sort of system where he had, so he put all the Samoans, so all the masters, like his master of his boats, the master to build his houses and everything, they were all Samoans, and he put all Samoans to as his matabules and to all, like, and the eikis, and still exists to this day. So if you look at when the king of Tonga departs from this earth, right? When the king of Tonga dies, you will see there is one particular figure that stands to guard the coffin of the king, and this person is known as Lawaki. Now, there's only one person in Samoa that held the bule Lawaki, that had the title Lawaki in Tonga, and the title Namulaulu in Samoa was Lawaki Namulaulu, the first leader of the Maua bule. Now, Lawaki is very significant because he's the only figure in Tonga that stands next to the coffin of the deceased king with a Fuaautoa and Fue. Now, there's no other culture in the whole of the Pacific that stands with a Fuaautoa and Fue except for Samoa. And now Lawaki in tradition is known as the undertaker of the king. He is the only person who is allowed to touch the body of the deceased king of Tonga. Now that shows you the level of understanding there is between Samoa and Tonga, because kanokupolu, tui kanokupolu, the line tui kanokupolu is a ano of upolu, or the flesh of upolu. The lineage traces its roots back to Upolu. Now, whatever this person said, that this was done as a punishment for the Samoans. Yes, there was evidence of the Tongans' rulership in Samoa, but they did not rule all of Samoa. Now, let me pose a question to you. Wherever the Tongans were, you have remnants of the walls that they built, of the foundation of the houses, or they even name places that they were at after Tongan names. Now, in Samoa, the only place where there is evidence of the rulership of the Tuitonga was in Savaii, the big island of Savaii, where you have the pool of Vaimoa, where they used to throw Samoans into that hole as a punishment. Now, the only time that the Tongans actually mentioned them setting foot in Upolu is when they came for this invitational that they came, and hence where Tuna Fata Savea and Ulumasui and the two sons of a chief from Alepata, where they started this war against the Tui Tonga Talefe'i in Alepata. And in Alepata, we have evidence where lands are named after this particular event. We have Satitoa. Satitoa, it means Satia Toa. Satia means the killing of warriors. Satia Toa, the killing of warriors. Which warriors? The Tongan warriors. Then you have the village of Malai La. Malai is the field and La is the sun. So the reason why this place was called Malai La is the whole name is called Malai Safa'alalai Tino o Tangata Tonga, which means this was the field where the bodies of the slain Tongan warriors was laid out drying in the sun. Now, even if you look at Tutuila, Talefeiki sent Lautivunia, his cousin, to go and conquer and take control of Tutuila. What did Lautivunia do? He went there and he stole the betrothed taupo the taupo that was betrothed to the son of Maunga. His name was Fuaautoa. He stole her and stole her fine mat. And this angered Fuaautoa and led the rebellion that actually pushed back on the Tongans and their rulership that they tried to take over Tutuila. Now, what evidence is there to prove that? Now, there is, if you're from Tutuila, you know the old marist school, right? Right behind the old marist school that is, I think now it's closed down. There's a piece of land there that is called Numia Atonga. Numia means to crush. So that land is called the crushing of the Tongans, or Numia Tonga. And that's the evidence of what happened to the Tongans that came with Fuaautoa. Fuaautoa,